Sorry, driving again.
Hi. Always.
Yeah. So, do you like drive? Is that the new thing? You know, Zoom from a car, like every video now.
I do. That's how important this is to me, is that I can even stream it from my car.
Awesome.
Okay, you may get started, Sean.
All right. Yeah. So, welcome everybody to the Zoom. We've got Todd, Ryan here today. We're going to talk about a lot of the processes, the all the great repricers out there that's available, and talk about all the features that might be best for your business to make. We are recording, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. To make the best use of all the tools, because when you start adding them up, they do get pretty expensive. I don't use a whole lot of tools the way I do my business, and it's still expensive. Having a repricer, using Scan Power with all the features or whatever, you need a scouting app. You probably need a listing app. You need something to keep track of your inventory. You need something for your taxes. And then all the extra stuff, really, and those are all pretty much required if you're an FBA seller. And then there's a lot of extras that you can be using for scouting, for comparing prices live, and you just really need to find what's the best use of your money for the way that you're finding product. So, Todd has really, I guess he really enjoys, trying out all the new products out there to see what's best for his business, and he's happy to share it with us tonight. And I think he has a little presentation, and then we'll be answering a lot of questions.
Okay. Yep. Thanks, Sean. Quick introduction. I've been selling online since 1999 on eBay, 2004 on Amazon. Kind of, played around with it for the first few years. It got serious back in 2013, and I've been doubling every year since then. My background is in IT, so I'm very addicted to the tools and the processes and the software. I enjoy trying them out. Enjoy harassing the people that make bad tools and rewarding the ones that make good tools. So that's kind of a side interest of mine. I'm not a huge fan of presentations, but I've just got a few slides just as talking points and notes, really. So I'm going to pull that up, and this will be available after the presentation also. Pull this up, make sure you guys can see it. Okay, can everybody see that?
Yeah, I can, yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm just going to go through, in case some of you aren't familiar with repricers, kind of how they work and what they do. The gist of using a repricer, really the biggest benefit for me is it gets the emotion out of my repricing. A lot of us sit on an inventory screen and look at the prices and make little tweaks here and there. We think something should be selling for more, or we're panicky because something's not selling, and kind of shoot ourselves in the foot. So the whole purpose of it is to automate it and kind of get you out of the process so that it can just make business decisions. First, and I misspelled definition, sorry about that. This is just my definition of what I consider a repricer. It's just a mathematically based software program that frequently calculates the optimum price for a particular product based on predefined parameters at a preset interval or in response to a trigger. Kind of wordy explanation, but that's basically what a repricer does. It's just pure math and pure automation. The problem that it solves, as I alluded to, is that manually repricing your inventory is not scalable. It works fine when you have 50, maybe 60 products, but when you get up into the thousands, I think Sean probably has the record for the inventory cap. But when you get to his level with tens of thousands of products, you just cannot reprice it yourself manually. Emotions when you're repricing are counterproductive. Like I said, if you get fearful, like you're not going to be able to unload something, you can just drop the price artificially out of panic. I'm competitive by nature, so I would typically mess myself up because I always wanted to have the buy box no matter what. So oftentimes I price myself out of profit just trying to win the buy box. And on the flip side, if you get attached to something that you think is really worth more than the buy box is going for, that can kind of stagnate your sales. And then finally, 24/7 price monitoring and responding to price changes just isn't practical. Even if you have a full staff and have it monitored 24 hours, human error is going to miss something. How does it work? A repricer accesses your inventory. You'll supply credentials to access your Amazon account. It pulls your price, your buy box eligibility, your buy box status, and then you supply it with parameters. Some packages work on the percentage of profit, so you tell it your cost and what percentage you want. Some of them use the cost info in your SKU. Kiwi Apps is one of the repricers that if you include the cost in your SKU, you can tell it where that cost is, and it will automatically set prices based on that. Some of them are based on individual minimum and maximum prices, most of them actually. And then a lot of them have advanced parameters where you can exclude sellers with, less than 80% positive feedback, or if you only sell new, you can exclude used, etc. Fulfilled by Amazon, fulfilled by merchant. You can even block individual sellers. So if you've got a price troll that frequently brings your price down, you can just ignore them and go about your business. Here's a real quick repricing example. Say you're selling a bag of widgets. The buy box is currently at $25. You configured your software to say your minimum you want to sell at is $20. The maximum you want to sell at is $30. And you configure it to say you want to compete with FBA and FBM merchants, and you configured it to price it at 1 penny of the buy box price. Obviously, there's a lot of disagreement over how to get in the buy box, whether it's 1 or 2% or $1 or a penny or whatever. But just for sake of illustration, say you went with a penny over it. So using the repricer in this instance, it would set your price at $25.01 because you've told it that your minimum is 20 and your max is 30. So that's within the minimum. The buy box is $25, and you've indicated that you want to be 1 cent over the buy box price. So in that case, it'd be $25.01. Another example, and this is where repricers can kind of help you out, is it respects your minimums as well. So if a price on an item tanks, and you said, hey, I don't want to sell this for less than $20, even if I have to set on it for a month. If the buy box drops down to say $10, your price will stay at $20 because that's your minimum, and you told the software I don't want a price below $20. So it kind of keeps you within your parameters. On the flip side, if you set your maximum to 30, the buy box goes up to 50, it's going to stop at 30 because that's your maximum, basically. I've got another typo there. $30 being your maximum, the repricer software should always respect your minimum and maximum. There's been a couple of instances with some software packages that haven't always followed that, which caused some issues, but in general, that's how they would work. There's also some of the more advanced repricers can do what's called price pressure. So once you have the buy box, say you're at $25 and you're in the buy box, if the next lowest seller is at, say, $26.99, it will raise your price to $26.98 and then see if you're still in the buy box. And if you're not, then it will back it back down to $26.50 or $26 until you get back in the buy box. So the goal there is to get the highest price you possibly can and still keep the buy box. So if someone's above you would kind of want to snug up behind them. Excuse me. So that's in essence how a repricer works. There's last time I surveyed, there's about 24 different repricers out there, and I'll upload the list afterwards so you can look for yourself. They range in price anywhere from $10 to $12 for reprice it, all the way up to I think $1,200 is the most expensive I've seen per month. And then they scale based on the number of orders and the number of items that you have, depending. I know that's a lot of information all at once. Does anybody have any questions so far?
Yeah, I have some questions.
Okay.
As far as the what I'm always telling people is that with that everybody should have a repricer. You said that there might be a few you'll never be able to keep up with repricing, no matter how big your staff is or
Yep.
how few products you have. But the problem I have is that no matter how quick you reprice, you're competing against repricers. So if the other guy has a repricer, then I think that you need a repricer, because if you spend 2 hours repricing all of your product, then a minute later another repricer could be repricing against it again. And usually, some are only set to an hour, or some are several hours, but and a lot of them are automatic repricers, so it might be going off every 5 minutes.
Yep. That's a good point.
So, I recommend everybody have at least something. You don't need a $500 a month repricer, but there's a lot of entry level ones. And even if there's 24 out there, they're all working at different levels and have more features. But just invest $20 or $25 in one of the more basic ones. Just so you can stay competitive.
Yep. And that's a good point I didn't touch on is, the repricers work anywhere from manual, so it goes in and recommends prices and you set it up to, a schedule of 4 to 5 times a day. Some of them advertise continuous, which the fastest I've seen is really 10 to 12 minutes. And most of them take advantage of Amazon's new API, where every time that item sells, they get data back on what the buy box price was. So as Sean mentioned, every time there's a sale made of that item, somebody's got a repricer that's adjusting the price that they have on that item. So that's a good point.
Yeah, and you also touched on the I don't remember what you called it, but repricing, up to get against the next highest price.
Yeah.
Now you didn't say any names, but I know Be Cool does that.
Yes.
And that's really one of my my new favorite repricers, which I think we might try to start using. It's only $25, and I know they have some discounts. I think we were talking to them about getting some discounts. So,
yeah.
We might have a discount for the group. But, I think that's really the best option for repricers right now is something that's going to compete with the next highest price. I know App Eagle isn't doing that. We've used that for years, and we've tried, we've disabled App Eagle, and we have 2 accounts. So, we've tried a lot of other ones, but App Eagle for the price, I think, has been the best. But they're not doing that, and I really see a lot with our product. We'll get 60 or 70% of our items, with the buy box, consistently.
Yep.
So I know it's doing its job, because nobody else that I really talk to is able to say they're getting anything close to that.
Yep.
But I'd really like, Be Cool, because I'm seeing a big discrepancy. $3, $4, $5 on lower priced items under $20. There shouldn't be a 20 to 25% difference between me having the buy box and the next highest price.
Yep, exactly.
So Be Cool can raise the price, and keep it within pennies. Then I think it's really going to make a difference for a lot of people.
Yeah, and that's kind of what drove me to them is, all the software packages will get you the buy box. Because that's just simple math. But, with the number of sellers increasing and, the profit margin shrinking, that, the extra 2 cents or $2 makes a big difference. And, it would chat me when I would, get a sale, and I would go look and see what the buy box is, and the next guy up has it, and he's making, $8 more than me. So that is a great feature. And we can do a Be Cool demo at another point too. One of the other features they have that's a huge time saver is most of the other repricers, you have to calculate, you have to put your minimum and maximum price. So for most people, that means going to the FBA calculator, putting in the sale price, putting in your cost, doing all that piece. With Be Cool, right in their main screen, you click on the calculator and you put in your costs, and it calculates the Amazon fees and everything, shipping if it's fulfilled by merchant. It does all that for you. So then you can either put in a minimum maximum price, or you can put in a minimum and maximum profit. So if you pull up an item, you say, okay, it cost me $5. I want to make at least $2.50 on this, but 25 is my max. It will do all the other calculations for you, which saves a ton of time, when you're going and setting it up. I think you're on mute, Sean. I don't know if that's on purpose or not.
Okay.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. So, we don't really worry about the profit as far as the repricer. Really, in my business model, we do some retail, of course, and wholesale, but buying liquidation, I'm not really wasting my time worrying about profit.
Yeah.
Because realistically, I'm paying pennies.
Yep.
For most items. I'm buying thousands of items for hundreds of dollars. So most of my stuff is under $1. So I wouldn't. And I have almost 3,000 SKUs. So entering all that information really probably wouldn't be effective for me. But when you're doing wholesale, it's completely different, because you have a lot of you don't have a lot of profit in there. So just losing a few percent can really make a big difference.
Yeah, I average anywhere from 10 to 30% profit. So I couldn't imagine your profit margins. So it's a totally different game for me. I have to watch every penny doing wholesale.
Right, and so do a lot of people. Even doing retail, or a mix of retail and online. Those features are really helpful to some people.
Yeah.
What other you yourself? What other types of software do you use besides repricers?
I use a repricer and a restocking package, because being 99% wholesale, 95% I guess. I have everything's replenishable basically. So I try to keep myself out of the process. So once I find a product that's profitable, I set up my repricing parameters, and then I don't look at the price. And then I go into the restocking software and I put in like the case quantities, the lead time, all the other stuff, and then I don't touch that. So then once a week I go into the restocking software and I say, okay, I want to replenish everything that that's within my profit margins. Tell me how much I need, and it will tell me what to order to have a rolling 45 days of stock at Amazon, which is what I shoot for. So it spits out the POs, I send it to the vendor, and away I go.
Okay, so as far as that, how would you? How often do you do that? Is that do you log in and it tells you what needs to be stocked, and you do that once a week, or how does that process work?
It sends me a report once a week that just as kind of a reminder. But what I do, since I work full time, I typically will set aside one night during the week when I'll sign in and just look and see what I need to reorder. And then it makes the POs and everything for me. I don't have to do anything. I just click on the vendor, adjust the quantities if I want to, and then it emails me a PO that I just forward to the vendor. And then once it comes in, I will sometimes hold back stock if it's not a fast enough mover or it slows down. I'll hold back some and warehouse it and then send the rest. So if I do that, I also tell it, okay, I ordered a case of 60, I'm sending 30 in, 30 I'm keeping. So the next time it goes to tell me to reorder, it'll say, hey, pull the 30 that you have in stock and order 10 more from the vendor. So it manages all that for me.
Okay, so when it spits out those purchase orders, you're entering in the system how much you want to order, or it's telling you? Does it tell you how much to order?
It tells me. I tell it if because as a wholesaler, I have to deal with case quantities. So some things right. I can't order unless I order at least 6 or whatever. So I tell it, okay, a case pack is 6, and so if it'll hold until it gets halfway there, and they'll still order 6 of this. Or if I need to order 23, it'll round up to 24, and it tells me exactly how many to order and exactly what the profit is on it and how many days of stock that would be.
Right. what does software like that go for, and what package are you using?
I'm using Restock Pro. There's only really 4 packages I'm aware of out there that do that. Restock Pro is $39.99 a month for my volume, which I think goes up to 2,500 orders a month. The most expensive one I know of runs around $600 a month, but really haven't seen much difference between them. So, all things being equal, I go with the cheapest one.
Right. Now, when you say 2,500 orders a month, is that like orders placed on Amazon?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
That's for the starting tier. I'm not sure. I'll check real quick and see what they price at outside.
And what other products are you using? And do you use, I know you don't use Scan Power. Are you using Inventory Lab or any product for listing?
Yep, I use Inventory Lab. I've used Scan Power in the past. I think it's fine. I think it's just a preference as far as GUI or whatever. But I do use Inventory Lab and the Repricer and Restock Pro. And then this is my last year. I'm going to be using QuickBooks. I used it before because I was multi-platform. I was on 11 Main and Bonanza and eBay and everything. I've kind of given up on other platforms, so I'm scaling back from QuickBooks after this year. So I'll be dropping my QuickBooks plugin also.
Okay, so you're just using Inventory Lab for the accounting?
Yeah, it's kind of my backup accounting because I'm still getting used to it. I'm maintaining QuickBooks to the end of the year, but then my CPA, if the numbers match and he's fine with it, then I'll be dropping QuickBooks.
Okay, great. And what about for like scouting and your price checking? Are you just using Inventory Labs Scout for that?
Yeah, I use Scoutify. I have the luxury of, since it's wholesale, I usually don't leave my chair to do most of the price checking. So that's a little easier for me. But I occasionally will do retail arbitrage. I have a little, a Bluetooth scanner and Scoutify or the Amazon app. It just depends.
I have a question, Todd.
Yep.
I have to get off here in a second, but do you use any of the extensions that you can, do you have Chrome or anything like that, just out of curiosity?
Yes, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just seeing if you used any of the extensions. Like, I don't know if you read online arbitrage or anything like that, but there's just a plethora of extensions that can be used to, help with scouting and so forth. So
yeah, I've done a lot of, as a matter of fact, I started doing online and retail arbitrage. I just got into wholesale probably about 6 months ago. I do use Price Blink, use the Camel extension, Keepa extension, and then I've also tried a new one here lately called ASIN Inspector. That's really cool extension, and I think Sean was talking about us maybe doing a demo of that a little bit later.
Yeah, we're going to do a demo.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What about Price Zombie? Have you used that at all?
I have looked at it. I don't use it currently. The main one I use, let's see which one it is actually. I use one, it puts like a graph on the actual Amazon page and shows me when Amazon's in stock, what the price is, kind of a rolling history of it. I think it's the Keepa price tracker.
Yeah, I use that myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about the only extension I'm using. I don't really use, I use mostly Firefox, so I don't like having to load up Chrome just to, look at an item on Amazon.
Yeah.
If I was doing that a lot, I've used a lot of the extensions. Since you're doing a lot of wholesale, do you have any kind of an evaluation program like Scan Power Evaluate for evaluating product from wholesalers that come in a spreadsheet?
Yep, there's as you know, there's a ton of them that do the same thing. The one I've settled on, and again, it's just a visual preference, is Ecom Spy. It's by Ecom Engine.
And what's it called?
Ecom Spy. So like e-commerce, and then the word spy. And it's by Ecom Engine, who also makes. They also do some of the feedback management stuff. I forget which one. I think it's Feedback Genius. But yeah, it's the same kind of thing. You know, you upload a spreadsheet. It's feedback 5. That's what they do. You upload a spreadsheet that it kind of sends you the rest. Scanner Monkey has one that they're working on, Scanalyze. That one's got a unique feature. It's not perfect yet, but it has a feature I like where it's starting to be able to recognize quantities. So like one of the biggest challenges as a wholesaler is I'll get a price on like a case of 6. I can't just upload that UPC because it's a case of 6, or vice versa. If I have a UPC and I'm price checking and someone's selling a bundle of 3 or a multi-pack of 3, it doesn't really match up. Where with Scanalyzer, they're starting to be able to do the logic to pick up if it's, you know, multi-pack or quantity of 3 of an item. But I have used Scan Power Evaluate. It works fine as well. I think all of them do pretty much the same thing.
Right. The thing about Scan Power Evaluate, though, if you have a small spreadsheet, you can use it for free.
Yes, that's
up
true.
to 50. So, you know, if anybody has a small one or wants to try it out, you know, you can do that for free.
Yeah.
And speaking of the feedback software, do you use Feedback 5 or Feedback Genius or any of those products?
I do. I use Feedback Genius. I've tried. Tool has a feedback tool. There's Feedback 5. There's a bunch of them. I like Feedback Genius the most because it has a few advanced features I like using. Specifically, like a second or third time repeat buyer. I have kind of a different message for them. You know, you can't really build brand loyalty on Amazon. I have a handful that will look for, you know, my product name when they're buying that product. It makes a huge difference for me, I think, because you know, people go back and forth on the value of feedback. I'm not convinced. I know I personally look at seller feedback, and I'm not convinced it makes a huge difference to have a lot of positive feedback. But I think it makes a huge difference to get negative feedback when you only have 2 or 3, you know, feedbacks. So it's just a percentage game. But I average about 10 to 20% feedback as far as orders. So if I do 1,000 orders, I'll get 100 to 200 feedback per month.
That is ridiculously high. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I get feedback on the feedback software. I would say at least maybe a fourth of my feedback says, hey, I really appreciate the tracking information. Thanks for letting me know the package was coming, you know, because my P.O. box is across town or something to that extent. I've had one complaint, and I've had easily 50 or 60 compliments on, you know, the data. I don't spam them, but I send them something when it's out for delivery saying, hey, your package is out for delivery. Make sure you watch out for it, that type of thing. People appreciate that.
We use Feedback 5, but I mean, for example, we have in the last year we've had about 40,000 sales, and I mean, my total feedback since I started in 2012 is about 1,200. I think we've got about 800 in the last year. So I mean, you know, that's a huge difference from what, you know, you're doing.
Yeah, I write my own, and I'm not saying this is it, but I write my own feedback requests. I try to make them kind of funny. You know, I kind of subscribe to the Woot or the meh.com or some of those kind of edgy websites that kind of make fun messages and make it entertaining because, you know, as an Amazon customer, I hate getting the dry, you know, hope you got it, if it's fine, leave me a review kind of stuff. So I make them out a little quirky. I think that helps. Some, and I don't know if I've been lucky or not, but I have pretty good response rate on them.
Yeah, I hate those messages. When I see one of those messages come in, I mean, I immediately delete it. I don't even look at them, you know.
Yep.
I mean, myself. And I definitely don't leave them feedback.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, most people don't leave feedback.
Yeah. Now, what surprised me is the main reason I did it is I was thinking, hey, this way, if someone has a complaint, maybe they'll let me know before they leave me feedback. I've only had 2 people that I can remember in the 11 years of selling that responded to my feedback request and said, hey, yeah, there was something wrong, you know, and gave me a chance to address it. Everybody else just either ignores the email or just leaves me bad feedback anyway. So it doesn't really make a difference for that for me.
Well, we haven't gotten it recently, but I mean, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, we started using it, Feedback 5, and, you know, we were getting 3 or 4, you know, responses to that were problems. And that's why I started using it myself. was because I thought that, I could catch them before they left a negative.
Yeah.
And we were, but I mean, recently it hasn't really been having much of an effect. So I don't know. I think it just goes in waves.
Yeah, I just figure it's insurance for me. And I do have a couple of exclusives. So I use it to try to solicit product reviews for those. And you can send the PDF and do all kinds of cool stuff with that. But it's really a set it and forget it. I honestly haven't touched it in 3 months. It just runs.
You can go play. Right. Excuse me, I'm on a video. I can't play right now, okay? Okay, please? Please, I can't. When I'm done, okay?
Does anybody have any other questions?
What else are you using as far as products?
See, Inventory Lab, Restock Pro, Be Cool, and then a product called T Applix, which is T like the Tea Party and Applix, APPLIX. All that does is it downloads my Amazon sales into QuickBooks. It has a lot of other features in it, but that's all I use it for. That's $14.95, and it prevents me from having to manually enter sales orders for every sale I have on Amazon. And that's it. I think you're muted again, Sean.
I can't see the chat, so I don't know if there's any questions there.
No.
Comments, but no.
No, there's been a few comments so far, but no questions. Just greetings, basically.
Okay. All right. So the new software you tried out, the ASIN Inspector.
Yep.
What can you explain what that does? And it's mostly for online arbitrage, but can you go through that a little bit and tell everyone how they could be able to make use of it?
Yep, it's great for online arbitrage, retail arbitrage. It's actually would be fantastic to try to locate some private label possibilities as well. So essentially, the way it works is you enter in a search string on Amazon. So like you can say pizza cutter, jumbo pizza cutter. And then when you click on the ASIN Inspector, it's a Chrome plugin, it launches another tab that shows you all the matches for those keywords, their estimated sales rank, estimated sales, estimated revenue, the number of reviews, the rating, that type of thing, all on one screen. Who has the buy box, if it's Amazon or FBA or FBM, and what the current buy box price is. And then next to each one of those entries, you have a series of buttons that will either take you to do a search on Alibaba, it will do a search on eBay, it will pull up that product on Walmart, Target, Camel. There's a cost calculator there, and then the very last tab has a competition comparing, where you click on it, it will show you Amazon's price, the eBay price, the Walmart price, and the Target price. So that's a great way. I use it like, I'm wholesale, and a lot of items I sell are in entertainment, toys, board games, that type of thing. So when I hear of a new movie coming out, I'll pull up, say, like Ant-Man. Ant-Man's, been a very popular item, especially the Funko Pop Ant-Man products. I'll type in Ant-Man on Amazon and pull up the searches, and I can see right away which one's selling the most, what the sales rank is, and what the buy box price is. And so from there, I can look and see, I spot checking some tonight. Some of them were selling on eBay for twice as much as Amazon, and some of them were selling for half as much as Amazon. So if you do any eBay to Amazon flipping, it's a great tool for that. It's a one-time price, which I like. I hate the monthly drips, but it's a one-time price. I think Sean got a discount on it on top of that. But very handy tool. Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to doing the demo on that as well.
Also, can it, so you can enter in an ASIN or a search term, and then it's going to show you the other, other items that are similar, or other items that are shown on that page, right?
Yes. Yeah, it will show you every possible product, so you can see, if there's variations. I just did the jumbo pizza cutter, It shows, kitchen gadgets, cooking tool set, a black pizza cutter, 13-inch pizza cutter or crisper, pizza wheel, anything even remotely related to it. So that's where it would be a great private label angle if you wanted to get into something, other than the garlic press and the stuff everybody else is doing. That'd be a great way to find something.
All right. Well, what I see for people doing online arbitrage, you can find an item and then find all the similar items, all on one page.
Yep.
As far as if it's a toy, it would show all the other hot toys that are also related to it, and then you could probably do a Google search to find sources to get those items.
Yep. I also use it frequently as a wholesaler because I will get access to brands. So if I pick up a new brand, I put the brand name in, I can see what the best selling item for that brand is. It kind of narrows me down, so I don't have to go through the whole product catalog. And it puts all on one screen, which is nice.
Great. Yeah, I look forward to hearing about that. Okay. Well, if there's no other questions, I think we can wrap it up.
Okay. Does anybody want to have any questions or want to see anything in particular before we wrap, or is everybody good? I'd be happy to show Be Cool. I have Channel Max, which is another repricer. Anything along those lines, if anybody wants to see it. Nope.
All right. I think we're all
good.
set.
There's a question.
Another question.
Yep. F. Gibson had a question. Said, would you use this in conjunction with Jungle Scout Pro, referring to the ACE inspector? I would not. I mean, they're very similar products, but for different use cases. So, I think Jungle Scout Pro is more, at least my impression was geared more toward private label or you just listing your own product. ACE Inspector kind of lends itself towards that, but it seems like it's geared more towards, like Sean said, online arbitrage, retail arbitrage.
Yeah, we have Greg coming on that wrote Jungle Scout Pro.
Okay.
Next Monday.
Good.
So
good.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say buy both of them. We'll go through ACE Inspector, and we've already gone through Jungle Scout, and we'll have the author of Jungle Scout on. So you see what features would best suit you and go with that product. Both of them are very cheap in the long run, I think, because you only have to pay for it one time. So it's not a $20 or $30 monthly fee to use the product, which I think it probably could have been.
Yeah.
But they're very useful. If you can use it, then it's useful.
Yeah. Suzanne had a question too, Sean, along those lines. How much is ASIN Inspector? I think the price you negotiated was it $67?
It's somewhat. I think it's 87, and we might have gotten a deal. We're still working it out.
Okay.
We didn't have a deal with them yet, so.
Okay.
As soon as we can get some kind of a discount. I know that if you remember Scanner Monkey, they already have a discount somewhere around 67. So I would use that discount. No, they're not. They don't get paid for using their coupon code, and we're probably not going to get paid for using ours. If people are trying to sell it to you at full price, and constantly hammering you to buy it, and you're not getting a discount, then that's an affiliate link. So, we opt to always try and get a discount code before an affiliate link. But some places just don't want to give you discounts because most people aren't asking for discounts. They're asking for an affiliate link.
Exactly.
So, they can get paid. You're already paying to be a member of the group. So I'm not, trying to make more money off of that.
Yeah.
The group membership pays for my time. So if we're able to get a discount code, we do, and if not, then we don't. But they're open to doing it. They've done it for other people. So, at some point they're probably going to do it for us. We just have to wait for them to, give us the deal.
Okay. And then Lena had a question. She said she just started using App Eagle and was wondering, when you list a new product, are you just putting a high price or are you also putting a low price too? And all the repricers require you, I don't know of a single one that doesn't do this, but all of them require you to put a low and a high price or a minimum and maximum before they will reprice. And that is a reaction to some issues that some of the repricers have had over the years, where they, the infamous one was repricing everything to a penny in fourth quarter a couple of years ago. And then last year, one of the other repricers had something similar. So to answer your question, you have to put in the bottom and you have to put in the, most of them require you to put in the top. Some of them don't, but all of them require you to put in the bottom before they even reprice anything.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be worried about a top price because, you know, it's not going to hurt you if the price is too much. The only way you're going to get hurt is the bottom price.
Yeah.
But you set a default in App Eagle. So I think mine is somewhere around $6. So if I list something and don't change the price, then it's $6. And we just have the max set to the default, which is $9,999. And, you know, if we, you know, I haven't sold. I've had items that have been repriced up to $5,000 or $6,000, usually books, and still have the buy box, you know, and there's penny sellers on it. So, you know, that's kind of confusing, I think, but you're not going to get hurt by having, you know, the top price too high. The only one to worry about is your low price. So, and with App Eagle, I found you can't set your prices until they hit the warehouse. I can't list something and then go set the price in it. So.
Oh, okay.
You know,
that's one thing you can do and be cool. As soon as that product shows up as, you know, an item, you can go ahead and set the pricing. One other tip I learned the hard way, just for you guys, is when I am listing an item, I always price it at least $10 over the buy box and then go set my repricer. And the reason I do that is I had one of the hot Big Hero 6 items back a few months ago when the movie was hot, and I priced it for the buy box. By the time it got to Amazon, was received in, all 36 of them sold instantly, and they sold at what was the buy box price when I priced it, which was about $15 less than the buy box price by the time it hit. So I always price it high, and that way if something happens, I get that money, and then once it hits, the repricer will snap it back down to the buy box level. Lena posted the books seem to be tough. I do agree with that. I know there's a guy that's doing 7 figures in books. It's a pure volume game. I start out in books. I think everybody starts out in books, but unless you're in textbooks, it's really tough to make decent money on it unless you're just buying containers of it. So that is one of the tougher ones for sure.
Yeah, well, he's buying by the truckload. You know, I was at we were at the Scam Power conference together, and you know, he's buying. He's not a bookseller. You know, in my opinion, he's a book recycler. You know, he's got deals with recycling companies, and he buys a truckload of books. You know, for example, he's buying them for 5 cents, and you know, they have an assembly line that they dump the pallet out on, and you know, there's a pallet on one end and a pallet on the other, and it goes down a conveyor belt, and they scan them and pull out what they want. You know, they have somebody that buys Bibles and certain kinds of books, so all the Bibles just go in a bin, and they pull out what they want. You know, and what's worth scanning, they list it right there, and then what's left over that's not worth listing, they sell back for, let's say, like 3 cents back to the same book recycler.
Oh, okay.
So they're buying the books and giving back what they don't want for a lesser price. He's got a book debinder, which is like a $30,000 machine that like cuts into the hardcover, so it you know, it breaks the glue off. So the paper goes in. They separate the paper from the cover because the hard covers are worth, you know, it's worth less separate together than it is separate.
Okay.
So they sell the paper for one price and the covers for another. You know, and then it all goes back to the recycler. So yeah, they're doing great volume. I think he said about 5 tons a day. They process worth of books.
And that's Greg Murphy, right? That was his
Greg
name?
Murphy, yeah.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, so he's got a totally different model than the person going to the library and in the bookstore and scanning.
I still buy books. I just bought one of the old school PDAs that nobody even uses anymore.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's so great. All the stuff that I would ignore, like at a thrift store, now I can just, it's all in one hand. So I've got several Bluetooth scanners, but, I've got the scanner that's in the PDA now. So all
Yep.
you're doing is hitting the down volume button on the side, and going through, pulling the book out, scanning it, going down the line. I mean, in a half hour, I filled up a whole shopping cart full of books at a thrift store. And they go for different prices. I mean, we buy anything that's not listed on FBA, because, and that's in every category, not just books.
Okay.
If it's not an FBA, then, then it should be.
Yeah.
So we've had great luck and success with items that are, comforters at Ross, and I mean, every category, selling almost immediately after getting to the warehouse. We recently bought a bed set for maybe $40, and we sold it for about $135, and it was ranked like 600,000 in home.
Oh, wow.
Just because there was no FBA seller. So
Yep.
we take that chance as long as we can, make a good profit, like triple your money on it. It's worth it. And with books, the returns are, you're paying 50 cents usually and selling them for 30, 40, 50 sometimes.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
So it just takes time. If you have more time than money, then it's worth it to go out there and do it.
Yep. I hear you. I still supplement my wholesale with retail arbitrage just because you can't beat the margins.
Yeah, I mean, we don't ever buy anything if we can't double our money, and we never have. And, I doubt that, never say never, but I'm never going to try and, buy at those low margins. But, we have the time to go out and, spend all day sourcing every day.
Yep. That's good.
When I'm not at Disney World.
It's probably a well-earned vacation, I'm guessing, based on your volume. Suzanne had a question for you, Sean. She said, do you use your scanner in Ross?
Of course.
Going to get rid of hers. Okay.
Well, I mean, we're not using a PDA scanner at Ross. We're using a PDA scanner for books and media. I mean, I don't even have anything else on that. We do have the KDC. We've had all the different Bluetooth scanners, but now we use the KDC 200 series, linked to our iPhones, our iPads. And yeah, basically, pretty much anything that scans in closing, we buy, regardless of the rank. Unless there may be 10 sellers on it, which you rarely see in closing, we're going to buy it. So, we go down a whole aisle in Ross of closing, and we might only find 3 or 4 items. So you're not doing anything wrong because you can't find much in closing. There's just not enough listed. But if you have the time, then, buy all the good products. You see Adidas, and there's tons of Adidas and Nike and all that, either at full price or at, at Ross clearance. But, full price at Ross is, buying a $45 shirt for $10. And then on clearance, it might be, $5 or $6. So if you want to go and list those products, then there's, a huge potential for profit. But we don't do that. We don't have time to list all the stuff we get now. So I guess the answer is yes. Yes, we definitely scan at Ross, and almost every area of Ross is great. Socks, I found a #1 item, ranked item in socks in the sports category at Ross for, I think, $3.99, and it sold for about $15.
Wow.
Obviously immediately. Socks are amazing. They're usually not more than $6.99. Sometimes they're as cheap as $1.99, and they usually don't sell for less than $15. And there's 3 or 4 sections of socks. We don't mess with shoes unless they're in a box. A lot of people do, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to buy a $150 pair of shoes without the original box. You know, so we don't mess with women's stuff. I don't know much about women's clothing, but we do underwear. We do, you know, all the undergarments, you know, bras, underwear section, all the men's clothing, women's purses, health and beauty, pets, toys. The kitchenware is great, and you know, backpacks are really great right now. And there's you know, tons of backpack type luggage too. You know, Samsonite.
Yeah.
Samsonite, you know, is there. There's Timberland. We bought some Timberlands for about $30, and they had $220 original price tags on them.
Wow.
And I think I'm not sure if we sold them, but we had them listed for about 160.
Wow.
And they had ranks, so I mean, they sold in the past. You know, they were high ranked, maybe 200,000 in apparel, but you know, they'll sell eventually. And if you're going to triple your money on them, you know, it's worth holding on to them for a few months.
Yeah, I'm surprised with the number of sellers that I'm still finding stuff that's either not on Amazon or no one's FBA. You know, people talk about saturation, and some of the products in stores are saturated, but every wholesaler I find, I'll find products that sell well, and no one else is selling them on Amazon yet.
Right. You know, people don't want to put in the work. You know, if you have the time, then you're going to find products. You know, I tell people the same stuff all the time that, you know, if you put in the time, almost every wholesaler, you're going to find something.
Yep.
Every store, you know, literally even going to Walmart that everybody is at, if you scan every product on an aisle, you know, in grocery, you're going to find a handful of replenishable items.
Yep.
You know, because people aren't doing that. They're pulling one item off the shelf saying, oh, this looks good. You know, you have to scan everything, because the stuff you don't think people want is the stuff that people aren't buying. So,
Yep.
you know, to sell. But those people are looking for it. People are looking for that stuff that nobody thinks anyone wants.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. And my restocking software, the other feature I like is I've not found that a lot of people will lose attention on a product. Like if I'll have a product and 20 sellers will jump on, 2 months later, all of them but 3 are gone, you know, because people either give up or don't want to go back and do the effort or just get bored with it. So things come and go, it seems like, in cycles.
Yes, the KDC does scan faster. You know, if it's linked, it's immediately going to do it. If you have one, I mean, you should know that. And you know, using the camera to scan, you know, it takes a few seconds. It still has to focus and, you know, send the information to whatever scanner you use. But we use Scan Power, and we have, you know, it on every phone and every tablet we have. And you know, sometimes I'm using it on my phone and my tablet at the same time, just to get, you know, so it can't keep up. You know, it's only as fast as the internet, obviously. So,
yeah,
you know, that's your only limitation. But as soon as, you know, that scanner can hit the barcode, you know, it's on your phone. So, you know, that's a lot faster than using a camera. Okay, I think that's about it. Yeah. Is there something else?
No, I was just seeing if anybody else had any more questions. I don't see any posted.
All right, we're at our hour, so I think we can wrap it up. And you know, within the next couple days, we'll get this the replay posted for everybody. And you're the host, Todd, so you have to end it.
Okay. Well, thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it. If anybody has any questions, I hang out in the group, so just tag me in one of in Sean's mastermind group, and I'll help you out. If you have any questions about repricers or just in general, feel free to let me know. Okay. Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.